Make sure we got that done. We'll be live in just a moment. Throw this in here. See, they know when I'm live. Did I do the ping roll? Sure did. Perfect. Awesome. Here we go. There we go. Head on out. Morning, Severus. Time for the king of them all. We're repping squats today. Probably be repping 265 and then 225. We're going to be doing some volume. My key here is I want to get depth right. So come the fuck after me if I'm not going deep enough. First thing we'll do is we'll start with a little jump rope, warm up, jump jacks. Oops. Ah. 5, 6. 5, 6. All right. I'm just going to start off a bit here. So the key for today, we want to hit crease the hips at the top of the kneecaps, also known as parallel. So we want to be down here at minimum, all right? We're not going this far, but right about here. All right. Today, the title of this stream says Hail to the King. That's because someone came at me recently challenging me that squats were not the king of exercise workouts, the king of exercise. And I say to you, if you can find me one exercise that you can rep for more of, that works more things more comprehensively than squats, you do it. The only one I could really argue that does more is perhaps a full clean and jerk or a snatch. And that's an Olympic level workout. Squats, well, they're a little easier, frankly. full-on Olympic clean and jerk and all that's fantastic, but that is very high effort exercise. You'll burn out very quickly on that. Good morning, Big Red. Camera's a bit high, can't see the down position that well. Thank you. That's why I like having you guys around. Tell you what I could do is probably put you on the bench and y'all would see it from a side perspective. That's probably a touch low. That's about right, I think. Yeah, so that way y'all can still see my head when I'm up here. All right. Actually gonna take this off. So when I'm squatting, I like being able to see how much time I'm under the bar. All right. First set is gonna be a front squat set. I always do that as a warm up. Or do you need some music? Let's go with sort of a little, ooh, that's a good song. Haven't heard that in a while. Liar by 3 Dog Night. That's a good song. Alright, so this is 155. And yes, I'm not doing this with a belt. At 155, it's not particularly necessary. And I really like focusing on the breathing as well. A belt gives you back stability, but takes away some of your ability to intake oxygen. You might hate it, bro. Pay respect to the king. I never thought, I agree with you, Big Red. I think Levis is a great second round pick, though. By the way, the biggest reach and the biggest bust of the first round of the draft, by far, is gonna be Anthony Richardson. And it's not Richardson's fault. The Indianapolis Colts are the worst possible option for him. The Colts have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and they're known for just bruising quarterbacks. What's gonna happen, because Richardson, and you saw this in his days in Florida, Richardson's raw, he's a project. The Colts they're infected with an all too common disease in the NFL called short-termitis. Everybody wants the short-term success. And as a result, the Colts are going to play Richardson far too early when he's far too inexperienced. He's going to get fucking shredded because he won't get blocked for, and then he's going to lose his confidence, and then he's going to be a bust. It's not going to be his fault. The Colts will ruin Anthony Richardson, mark my words. I wish him the best. I don't hate AR. I think he could be a successful quarterback in the NFL, just not with Indianapolis. Unless the Colts go absolutely gangbusters on drafting the best young lineman they can, and then they let Richardson sit behind a journeyman for a year, he's fucked. Richardson is absolutely screwed. He's got a ton of talent, but Richardson is way too raw to start in year one. And if you're drafting a guy 4th overall anymore, that means people expect him to start on day one, which is, again, short-termitis, and it's a disease. It's a disease in this whole country, honestly. It's any business, any form of business these days is all about the short-term results. They're not willing to sacrifice a little bit of short-term for a little bit longer down the road. It's a bad thing. So I'm doing something else different today. I brought my protein shake in here because I think on these really hard squat days, a little bit more calories in my system will do me better. Hey, someone, thank you. Say he was selfishly sat out his bowl game is a crock of crap. Kentucky fans have no clue how the draft process works. He shouldn't have sat out his bowl game. Look, man, I get it. You know, blah, blah, injuries, blah, blah. It's extra wear and tear. No. College anymore, you know, you've got guys that only spend 2-3 years tops on there. College games, every single college game is extremely valuable experience that you're leaving on the table. And to not go to that game because of being scared of getting hurt is cowardly and foolish. So actually, I have to agree with the other Kentucky fans here. Awkward facing or awkward phrasing, thank you very much for the follow. I've noticed on your squats before, you tend to lean forward before pushing up, rather evident on a heavier weight. That's true, and it's because I do low bar. When you do low bar, you're naturally going to be a bit further forward because the weight is a little bit further back. It's a little bit further towards your center of gravity. This allows you to be a little bit further forward and keep the weight centered. It allows you to actually do a little bit more. If you are over 6 feet tall, as I am, I strongly recommend low bar if you do squats. Front squat. Hey, what's up, itchy nurse? Quick front squat overview how-to for a friend. I don't train legs, I swear. There are two, you need to fix that, bro. There are two ways to do front squat. The first is using the power clean grip like this, and it seems to work for a lot of guys. This hurts the shit out of my wrists, so I don't do it. I got to imagine with the injuries you've had, it's going to do the same thing. So, what does that mean? Well, I balance the bar on my shoulders instead and do a cross, and I use my hands really just to push the bar into my shoulders. You got to keep your shoulders up. Go for a wide stance, cant your feet, and lean back a little bit, right? Notice, so when I'm doing a full squat, if I'm doing a back squat, I'm more over like this. If it's a front squat, it's more like this. And the reason why is think about where it is center of gravity wise. Back squat, the bar is further back, so you need to lean further forward. Front squat, bar is further forward, so you need to lean further back, right? That's why, and this is another reason why squat is so much better than leg press. Squat forces you to balance like that. Leg press doesn't. Leg press is just push weight in one direction. And leg press is great, don't get me wrong. I will still do tons and tons of leg press, but it's not as good as squat. Never is, never will be. Oh God, Jeff fucking George. True friend of mine thinks short term on his business. It's an infection that plagues much of modern America. Hey, Young at Heart 1985, thank you for the follow. Do you see Levis going to the Rams? A chance for him to grow and learn under Sean McVay? I will say this for all quarterbacks. AR is just sort of a bigger symptom of this because he was raw in college as well. He's just such a physical specimen that people got really excited over him. But AR was raw playing at the college level. He's going to make tons of mistakes if you throw him out there on game one. One of the reasons Aaron Rodgers was such a good quarterback with Green Bay for so long is because he sat for 3 years behind Brett Favre. Okay? He learned from a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now take the other two quarterbacks in that draft, Alex Smith and Jason Campbell, who got drafted by San Francisco and Washington respectively. They didn't have near the success that Rodgers did, partially because they were forced into action too early behind bad offensive lines and behind coordinators that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It's so easy for NFL teams to just want to say, oh, let's start this guy immediately. He's going to be great. He was so great in college. Resist the temptation to do that. Get yourself a mediocre journeyman quarterback and suffer through a bad year while your quarterback marinates, learns the league, and comes in the following year. There are tons of quarterbacks who understand what that role is, all right? I will say credit where it's due to, I think it's the Panthers, who drafted Bryce Young at 1. They've got Davis Mills, who might not be good, like he's not a starting caliber quarterback, but The dude went to fucking Stanford. He's smart, okay? He's gonna be a really great knowledge transfer guy. And Andy Dalton, who may not have quite the intellectual capacity, you know, I mean, he might. I don't know these guys individually, but, you know, TCU is not as prestigious as Stanford. But Andy Dalton's got a decade plus of league experience that he can transfer and give that experience to Bryce Young. If the Panthers are smart, they will not start Bryce Young in 2023. Seriously. Or at bare minimum, the first 8 games of 2023, Bryce Young should not even see the field. And Bryce Young is probably the most ready of any of the quarterbacks. He's a great leader. He's got his head screwed on straight, and he's got lots and lots of experience from his play at Alabama. I still don't think he should start. That's very old-fashioned. But then, you know, I thought Bijan Robinson was a great pick at 8, so maybe I'm a bit archaic. All right, now I got to get a set going, y'all. Anthony Richardson opinion. We were just talking about that. Let me do a set, and I'll get back to you. All right. Remember, y'all, crease the hips, the top of the kneecaps. Check me on squat depth. This ain't working. We'll Black Sabbath. Here we go. Overhead pulls. What's up, Jovan? I'm out of that. There we go. Thank you for the follow. So these are overhead pulls. I recommend doing them a lightweight. Just letting the weight sort of hang at the back. What this does, if done properly, is that it expands your rib cage and helps upper body growth after a set of heavy breathing squats like you just saw me do. I recommend doing sets of 20. All right, Anthony Richardson. My thoughts, really simple. He's screwed. I'm sorry. Indianapolis is going to mess Anthony Richardson up. Richardson is extremely physically talented. He's also extremely raw. And the Colts historically are not an organization that protects their quarterbacks very well. With the exception of Peyton Manning, every quarterback of theirs, from Luck to Rivers, to Ryan, to all the other guys, have gotten hurt because they don't have good O-lines. And Richardson, athletic though he may be, is going to get clobbered. So, it doesn't matter what you have as a quarterbacks coach, dude. Your offensive line is crap, and Richardson's going to get punished. He's gonna be a bust. Unless the Colts do a couple of things. First off, they gotta start fucking drafting good O-linemen, and now. Second round, their pick has to be an O-lineman. Then they need to get a journeyman quarterback and let Anthony Richardson sit and marinate for a year. He should not play at all in 2023. I know Colts fans hate hearing that, because you want to see what the new guy can do. No. With a guy as raw as Richardson, you gotta let him marinate. They did Gardner. How many egg whites do you have a day? Unfortunately, I don't have access to egg whites. Even Costco's out of them right now. I can't find them anywhere. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jovan Dior, too. All right, well, I got a second Jovan Dior in chat now. Cool. But yeah. They did Gardner. Y'all, okay, so you have Nick Foles. That's a pretty good journeyman quarterback. Let Nick Foles start for all of 2023. Do not start Anthony Richardson. Richardson only had, 2 years at Florida? And again, physical specimen to be sure. Very raw. Oh. Ooh, this is hard. Oh yeah. Okay, so the calves and shorts were running a couple days ago. Which makes sense, it was a 4-miler. That's gonna leave him sore. Doing calf raises with a barbell instead of a machine is alpha as fuck. I don't have a machine, so I don't really have a choice. Oh my goodness. Dodger was high-key upset about that. And I get why. I would be very, very nervous about Carter's off-the-field issues. The dude's a freak. If he can, keep his shit together, he's going to be great for Philly. But the other thing is, I don't know why Philly didn't go for a D-back. Like, Philly did not need a defensive lineman. You already had Jordan Davis. Why did you need Jalen Carter? You had Fletcher Cox and a ton of other really great, front seven guys. I just don't think Jalen Carter was a necessity. Like, I don't think it fits the team very well. Doing calf raises with barbell instead of machine is alpha as fuck. As alpha as legs can be anyway, good lord. Oh really, they lost 3 D linemen? Maybe that's why. I did not realize Philly had actually lost some of their vaunted front seven. So, disclaimer for me in the NFL, okay? For those of you who are on Urinating Trees YouTube stream of the draft, y'all saw me come out with a Chris Cooley jersey. I only put it on because Snyder is finally selling the team, and that means I may actually care about the NFL. I'm still not convinced he's going to do it. I want to see it. I want to see all the paperwork finished before I really invest in any of that. But I would be lying if I said that didn't, get me a little excited. MMA is absolutely better than football. Am I a Commanders fan? No, not yet. A long time ago, I was a fan of the entity previously known as the Washington Redskins. I'm not trying to be offensive or politically incorrect. Please don't cancel me, YouTube. I'm talking about what was. Or not YouTube, sorry, Twitch. But because of how horrendous and how odious a man Dan Snyder is, I just couldn't bring myself to continue supporting that crap. So again, the fact that it was a Chris Cooley jersey, I mean, Chris Cooley hasn't been relevant since 2008, all right? I have not cared about the NFL for a very long time. And it's weird for me to care as much as I even do now. This is far more than I have beforehand. There's an Aggie from your class fighting in one championship in Denver next weekend, so I have to care? No way. Aaron Kobe, thank you very much for the follow. Really? Who is it? Lab Boy's deadass, I will watch that. That's it. Or at least I'll watch the highlights if I can't get it. Let me do another set of squats, y'all. Let me go for 15. Again, y'all, check my depth, okay? Come on! Oh yeah! That was deep. Probably touched too deep. We're doing heavy volume today on squats, y'all, so we're nowhere even close to being done with squats. Thinking probably either, well, definitely 3 sets at 265. Then we're going down to 225. Then we're at mad sets at 20. In this nightmare, evil schemes on midnight brings. Will somebody listen to my prayer? All I had to get, no way out. I'm trapped in this crazy roundabout, trying to break this spell. You hold on me. Oh. All right, yes. Sage Northcutt. Hell yeah. What cooking oil are you using? Let me do another set of calves on that. That's a good question. So, oh, he was a petroleum engineer? Dude, that's badass. Yeah, I'll watch the shit out of that. Sorry about that, that was disgusting. Okay, cooking oil. I try to use as little of it as possible. 1 bottle of olive oil lasts me forever. You gotta remember, if you're on a cut cycle, oil is pure fat. In general, the times I'll cook a slightly fattier meat, like if I roast a chicken leg, there will be drippings and grease that falls through the drip pan and collects at the bottom. I'll filter those off, put it in a little container, and use that as my cooking oil. The flavor is far, far better than olive oil, lard, butter, coconut oil, and it's free. You've already paid for it. See you leaning forward? Yeah. So again, we were talking about this. When you are doing a low bar squat, you're naturally gonna lean further forward. So I want to depth check here. How deep was I going, y'all? Was I hitting crease of the hips at the top of the kneecaps, about here? If I was, let me know. Love to see the Titans go tight end or wide receiver in round 2 and 3. All right, it's good to know. What the hell am I? Is my stream lagging for y'all? God, I hope it's not doing that. So, for depth check reasons, I'll put you guys over here. You're gonna see me from the side this time. Right, I'm gonna crease the hips, top of the kneecaps, right about here, all right? Should do. Flirt with disaster while Molly Hatchet. What I will probably have to do after this set is go in and relieve myself. I can feel something through it, if you know what I mean. If you catch my drift. Which sucks because I don't really want to do that. I don't think I'm going to have an option today. All right, y'all please depth check me here, okay? If I'm not going deep enough, say so. Take just a minute. Tighten myself up. Do a little tighten up. 16. How's the depth? Tell me. Thank you very much for the follow. Come on, high power, high intensity. Alex Leon, thank you for the follow. We get doing calves. An 8.5 in depth. I don't know what that means. Was that parallel? Oh, shit. Ooh, light heavy. We are nowhere near complete, but we are doing the heaviest set we're going to do today on squats. Now, what we're going to do is we're at 225 for 20 reps. Mostly parallel, slightly off on a couple. Perfect. So I need to know. That's hard. You go all the way down to parallel each time. It's not as easy as it looks. All right, so we got, love to see, they say rest in pieces, or rest in peace rather, Jerry Springer. I don't see anything to celebrate with the passing of Springer. The man, lowered the bar in a lot of ways and addicted countless Americans to junky trash TV. Pioneered a genre of television that helped nobody. Record some of mine for you to see. All right. This is the only trouble with my setup. There's really no way to get a mirror in here. And as such, Seeing how deep I'm going is just impossible. It's Toronto. They're going to fail. I watched the most recent Steve Dangle video, and he called out the sickos, the ones who only show up when the Leafs do something stupid because they want to watch him lose his mind. I am part of those group of sickos. I will fully admit it. It's not our fault, Steve. You're just entertaining when you're mad. All right. I'm gonna try and do one more, and then I'm actually gonna try and do this without the belt, see how it feels. Then we'll go. I will definitely need to use the bathroom after this, but oh shit. A little Metal Militia by Metallica. With this, we're gonna hit calves, and then I'm gonna go use the restroom. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit off in the stomach. The bathroom break will rectify that. Dude, I'm a division rival fan. My Bruins need to wake up. Dude, I'm amazed at how poorly the Boston Bruins have been doing so far. I don't think any team in the regular season was giving them this kind of trouble. All right. Start at 20. Go deep. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Don't think, just two. Just two. Going with Metal Militia by Metallica, off of their first and very good album, Kill 'Em All, 1983. Back when Dave Mustaine played with them. Oh my God. Okay. 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 Itchy nurse, good question. I'll answer it and then take a quick break. Actually, you know what? I'll answer it while I take the break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, y'all. 3 minutes. I gotta use the bathroom. Okay, I'm back. Holy shit. Okay. Y'all, your boy is gonna need a minute or two to sit and recover. I'm really dizzy. That's a house and lot, yep. About half an acre. Oh yeah. No. The biggest part of my financial success has been choosing extremely low cost of living lifestyle. Housing, of course, is a big deal for that. Yeah, I'm a little bit better. I'm gonna lay down for just a second. Try and get this dizziness to pass me by. Oh God. Yeah, I feel strange. feel right. I'm gonna carry on, but wow. Yeah. I wanted to do 5 sets on 225 at 20 reps apiece. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. We'll see. Oh. I'm not going to stroke it. It's not that warm in here. It's probably 75. What happened? I don't know. Well, first thing that happened is I had to take a shit. I guess. Could be that. Yeah, I had to go inside and relieve myself, yeah. So, I did that, and my stomach still feels a bit strange. I still feel a bit dizzy. Try and sit back here in the fan's path. Yeah, I'm sweating a lot. Hang on. Hey, damn Raph, thank you very much for the follow. Bonjour to you. I don't speak French. Trying to learn a little bit of Spanish, but good morning. Feel dizzy and your blood pressure might be low. I also took some caffeine this morning. Not a ton, but enough. That may just be it. I haven't had a ton to eat. I've only had a grapefruit and probably about a quarter of that protein shake. Oh yeah, no, I'm fine, don't worry. Trust me, I've put myself through way worse. If you've been on this channel, you know, you've seen me do super squats. I get very, very close to the point of like passing out, fainting on those. I'm nowhere near that point. I just feel a bit off. Roommates at work. Catboy, don't worry about it, I'm fine. And if I do pass out, you're about to die. I'm doing squats. Catboy, if I do pass out, I will be just fine. There's a reason I have these guards here. It's not gonna happen, but in case it does, don't call 911, okay? First off, I don't need the medical bill for that. But I'm not gonna pass out here. Y'all be fine. I'll be fine. A little bit more water, psych myself back up. We're gonna hit this for another set of 20. It's just 225 too. It's not like I'm really doing that much weight. Just a lot of volume. And that was my goal today. Hit volume, volume, and more volume. What I may do is I may cancel the second half of my workout. I was gonna do like some trap bar deadlifts and such today. I'll be honest. After I get through with this, maybe a couple more sets of front squat, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna wanna do much more than that. All right. Let's go with a little Billy Idol, Dancing with Myself. Here we go. Check my fucking depth, y'all. Make sure I'm getting deep enough. 14. Seventeen. 'Sing another drink, 'cause it'll get to think. Chance to dance. Oh my God, I feel so much better. That was what the problem was. Let's go. I know what the problem was. I had to burp. Did y'all hear that? Thanks for sticking around, Severus. Always good to have you. Oh my God, I don't feel so bad anymore. Oh, I feel so much better. Thoughts on UFOs? Stoicism tells me that I cannot worry, or I should not worry about that which I cannot control. Therefore, I don't tend to think much about UFOs or other such extraordinary events. Do I think they could exist? Yes. Yes. Do I think we have made contact with a foreign, non-planetary species that is sentient? No. Oh, man. How was my death on those? Oh my God. My abs are cramping up. In doing this, I don't think people realize, right? If you're squatting correctly, your abs are firing, they're engaged. So we're gonna do 3 more of those squats, 3 more calves, 2 sets of Raider pulls, and then maybe 2 sets of front squats. I think we're gonna be done. I was gonna do trap bar deadlifts, but I'm not gonna have the energy by the time I'm through these next 3 sets. I'd rather hit these with everything I got. What are the characteristics you're looking for in an ideal partner or wife? So, right, we talked about this with what I call a dating scale. I'll go over it briefly, but it's the standard 0 to 10 scale with a couple modifications. I believe that in general, The 1 to 10. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll keep talking, but I gotta lay down. I'm just feeling strange. In general, the 1 to 10 scale is pretty good. I believe far less than, I'd say less than 1% of people are 1s. Probably less than 5% of people are 1s. So 1 is someone that I just do not want to interact with at all, period. Just leave me alone. For whatever reason, I don't want to be around you. But 2 is someone I can tolerate being around if I've got a reason. 3s and 4s, that's the friend zone. If you are someone I like, if there's 1 or more things that prevent me from doing anything further, this is where you land. Probably the biggest chunk of people are 3s and 4s and 5s. 5s are my one-night stand zone. 6s are my friends with benefits zone. There's enough about you to where I'd be, down to have fun, but beyond that, there's still some stuff that, would mean I wouldn't be interested in a relationship. 1s through 6s, I would say represent about 70% of people. Now, you have to remember that because I'm bi, my dating pool is a lot larger than most, so I can afford to be a little bit pickier. That's just math, right? I have twice the amount of people to choose from than someone who is attracted to only one sex. 7s are my short-term relationship. Yeah, I enjoy dating or, going out with you. But if I see something better, I may look to end the relationship. 8s are long-term relationships. 8s are realistically probably about the best I'm gonna do. 9s are marriage material, and 10s don't really exist. A true 10, the odds of me finding a true 10, I doubt there are any more than about 1,000 of them on this earth. And the odds of both me finding them to be a 10 and them finding me to be a 10 are so low that, again, for all intents and purposes, 10s aren't real. Now, to answer your question, what characteristics are involved in a 10? Well, the looks category is not the first one that I care about, but it does matter. I have to be physically attracted to you, but it's nowhere close to the most important thing on the list. Who you are as a person matters a lot more to me. Are you kind? Do we get along? Oh my God. Oh. So all this deep breathing while I'm doing squats is great, but it's forcing a lot of air into my stomach. It's making me feel all bloated and not very good. Anyway, so other things as far as metrics are concerned, and this isn't a comprehensive list. So, what makes a 10 a 10 is, hitting all of these categories. But that's why 7s, 8s, and 9s I'm totally down with, right? And here's the other thing, too. If you're a 9 in the looks category, but you're a 1 in conversation, and you're a 1 in terms of me not wanting to be around you, the best you can do is be a 5. I want to shag you and never see you again. I think I maybe differ from most guys like that. I put less value on physical appearance than I think most guys do. What's up, Crash Override? But common interest is a big one. Probably the biggest common interest is you have to be, it's 2. Crash Override, easy there. I didn't know you were bi at all, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't like advertising it. I'm not part of the Rainbow Brigade. Look, if you're LGBT and proud about it, by all means, go fly that flag. I just don't want to. I live in a very conservative part of the country, and it doesn't make sense for me to do that. But the biggest 2 in terms of relationship material for an ideal partner or wife.
The first is that you have to be physically active. You don't have to lift. Obviously lifting, if you do, it's something we can do together and that's a lot of fun. But if you are 300 pounds and overweight and you like playing video games all day, that's what we call a hard ceiling, okay? I don't think I'm being too picky by saying that, right? I push myself really hard physically because I want to be at the best of my game. And if you're not doing the same, then I think that's going to be a problem long term. The other most important rule for me in dating and evaluating others is that do not hold others to standards you do not hold yourself to. So I hold myself to standards here in the gym. Why would I not do the same to my partner? So physical fitness is a good one. If you're a woman, frankly, don't be afraid of heavy weights. Don't be afraid of the squat rack. Those really nice model level rears, you know, if you want that really nice big whole butt, do squats. You'll be amazed at what it does for you. If you're a guy, really the same thing applies. This is my huge hobby. This and streaming to you guys, this is what I like to do. So if I could have someone that would share that hobby with me, it would be a lot of fun. I'm into music too, but I typically don't do concerts just because they're expensive, they hurt your ears, and well, frankly, where I live, I don't have that many acts I can go and see without driving all the way to Atlanta. Other ones, and this is one where, much like my sexuality, I have a clash with my religious beliefs. I am a Catholic, but I believe the church's teachings on premarital sex and on birth control are nonsense. They don't apply in this day and age, and I think sexual compatibility is really important. If you and your partner don't really enjoy the same things in bed, yeah, it's a roadblock. Group conservative also, my boyfriend is in the gym, he's more into his music, more into my video games and sports. I let my BF be in, and that's totally great. So there are plenty of partnerships where there are not as many common interests. And that's totally fine. That's all right. For me though, I would like a partner with at least some of the same interests. Okay, maybe you're not into the gym, but we'll go out and hike all the time, you know, or we'll go for bike rides together, right? And then the other one is, this is a huge one, financial compatibility, okay? It's no secret at this point, plenty of y'all have asked for my salary, and whenever people ask, I'm very open about what I make and what I intend to do with the money I make. That was my neck, yeah. But, right, if I'm doing that with my money, and you're the kind of person spending all of their paycheck every time you get it, we're gonna have conflicts, and a lot of them. And we won't be compatible in a relationship. This is especially true for women, and I'm not trying to be misogynistic, but in general, I think women tend to spend more than men do. Now, men often tend to spend more on really big purchases, trucks, boats, things of that nature, but day-to-day small things, I feel like women, and this is generalities, so, you know, not all women are like that, and not all men are like that, but you get what I mean. On the small purchases, you know, makeup, fancy towels that you're not supposed to use, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You know, the decorative stuff, pillows and towels and all that. Women just tend to spend a little bit more on that, and that's fine. But, right, what I do is I'll write a budget and I'll see what I spend every month. That's something any partner should be able to do. Manage your money and know where you're spending it. If you're comfortable with your savings rate, great. But if I ask you, you know, if we've been dating for a few, if we've been dating for a few months. I asked you, hey, so what percentage of your paycheck do you save? You should be able to give me an answer. It should not take you very long. I don't think that's an obscene thing to ask for. Again, I'm not asking for you to be a fucking model. Like a 10 doesn't have to look like, you know, a superstar model to me. But if you tell me I have a savings rate of 65%, hubba, let's talk, all right? Did you need proof I was an engineer? Because there you go. Okay, lightheaded as fuck. Yeah, we're gonna have to go real slow on these. I've taken like 10 minutes here, but I needed to do that. I was feeling really weird. Okay, let's hit another set. I blow money like it's free, need to start saving again. I won't lie, I've been bad. Well, I'll put it to you right there. That's a really important thing for me. So you have a ceiling of a 6 already. That right there already puts you at a ceiling of a 6. If you're bad with money, I will not date you. Sorry. We can have fun, but if you like spending money, you spend your paycheck every month, I'm not gonna want to be your boyfriend. Just not gonna happen. We all can make our own criteria, and frankly, I kept my standards too low for too long. I've realized a lot in the last year or two just how much hard work I've put in terms of self-improvement. And by basically every metric, I am in the top, 5 to 10% in terms of finances, in terms of fitness, in terms of where I am in life. And, I'm tired of dating down. There's no way of saying that without coming off like really arrogant, but sorry, it's how it is. I think on the scale of 9, I love personal finance, health, fitness, and nutrition. Well, hey, that's a good start. I haven't really considered dating any of my fans on Twitch, but I'm not closed to the idea. If you have a lot of money saved, if you have a lot of money saved, like if you're a millionaire, as long as you're only spending 3 to 4% max of your net worth, of your invested net worth every year, then great, more power to you. We'd still probably not see eye to eye because, right, if I had multi-million-dollar fortune, I'd still probably only spend, $30,000 a year at most on myself. Maybe 35, 40 if I found a nicer place to rent and sold this house. The rest would go to charity because I'm happy. I don't need anything more. Does that mean I can potentially be your wife and partner? I mean, if, you say you love personal finance, health, fitness, and nutrition, that's a lot of boxes checked off right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. Going back to saving, I actually bought a lot in the last couple months because I wanted solid oak furniture for my home. I screwed an old door that came with my house to a couple of steel manually adjustable stands and created a standing desk. My previous standing desk was an old recycled cardboard diesel exhaust box. I think you and I have very different standards on what good furniture can be. I would never buy new furniture if it's wood. I would buy used. New furniture is a waste of money if you ask. Huffle200, hey, I saw you in my Discord. Thank you very much for coming on in. All right, I gotta do another set, y'all. Here we go. God, my legs are fucking jelly. Come on, let's do this. Oh, God. Holy shit. It'd be all waste if I was IKEA. Nice furniture so you paw it down to my kids. Well, sure, but you can buy that used. It's very unusual to be as frugal as you are. Why do you think you don't like to splurge? Great question. So, see that text right there? Wait, there we go. That's why. What I value more than anything else is time. We're all given 80 years with luck, or even less without. In general, more time on this planet cannot be bought. As such, I wish to spend the minimum amount being chained to my cubicle, working 40-hour work weeks, 50 weeks a year. Therefore, it makes the most sense to live as efficiently as possible, because efficiency is the highest form of beauty. Oh, that feels so much better. Okay. I didn't use a wood. Ferdinand, I'm the only one who boned on my furniture. See, I don't care about that. I'll go to the Salvation Army thrift shop if I need furniture. Or I'll make my own again. For pretty much the entire time, with the exception of the last maybe 3 weeks, my standing desk is an old diesel exhaust box I saved from an exhaust conversion I did on an old E-Series van. All right, Crash, I may raid you in a little while. We got a ways to go here, though. But the other reason I don't like to splurge is like it or not, there are 8 billion people on this earth, and we use far more resources than the earth has left available. We as a world are not living sustainably right now, and the biggest burden of that falls on Western consumers because we use the most crap. We consume the most resources. You good? I'm just coming to say hi. Oh, 7:20. That means you live out on the West Coast. Yeah, here it's 10:20. It's already getting quite warm in the southeast. But, right, people say, oh, well, blame the corporations for our pollution and carbon. Here's the thing about corporations. They're merely responding to market demand. Doesn't it waste a lot of time to convert furniture? Assembling my standing desk took like 20 minutes. My diesel exhaust box literally took 30 seconds to stand up. And to make it more stable, I filled it up with other boxes I wasn't using. So it's literally a box of boxes. Am I driving a secondhand car? No. I probably should have picked one. But I decided, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm still a car nerd. Oh my gosh, you're in Sydney. Wow, all right. I'd say good day, but 12:21 a.m. is not day. But no, I drive I bought it new, but it's a 2017 Chevrolet Volt. I will probably never buy another new car as long as I live. I love my car. It's been extraordinarily efficient, and it gets the job done. My little Volt is enough, right? The problem, especially down here in the South where I see it, is people who drive big stupid SUVs and trucks and never do anything with them. And you know who I'm talking about, right? There are obviously the people who actually have a ranch or a farm, and they have typically a beat up F-250 or Chevrolet 2500 truck from about 1997. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the accountant who drives a lifted Sierra, Ram, or F-250 to the office, never gets it dirty, never takes it off-road, and it gets 10 miles to the gallon and it sits in traffic because he refuses to carpool with people. That behavior is extraordinarily wasteful, and we subsidize it here in the United States, and that bothers me. Mr. Tooley, welcome. I assume you're talking, Thule is in either the Iraq or the Air Force Base in Greenland. Oh, it's so much better. Hey, Humdrum, good to see you. I'm not that handy, y'all. It's just, I think people overestimate the difficulty of DIYing shit. Think outside the box. Think for yourself, be creative. If you need to pull something, then a truck. If you just need space, get a farm wagon. I disagree with that. If you need to pull something, get a van. Vans in general can haul almost as much stuff on a trailer as a truck, and oftentimes more if you get the 2500 version as payload. The Chevrolet Express is an extremely useful vehicle, and that's why people who do real work, plumbers, carpenters, HVAC techs, electricians, what do they drive around in? It ain't trucks, it's vans. The Europeans understand this. I gotta give credit to the Europeans here. There's a reason the Ford Transit and Mercedes Sprinter are very popular over in Europe. I personally actually prefer the body-on-frame Chevrolet Express. It's not quite as space efficient, but the Express is rock solid tough. It is one of the best vehicles General Motors has ever made, and they've barely updated it since Bill Clinton was president. It's a fantastic vehicle. It's strong, it's tough, it's reliable, and parts are extraordinarily cheap. And if you get the diesel version, you could almost get 30 miles to the gallon out of it. Even if you just get the gasoline version, drive it gently on the highway, and you can squeak out 22, 23 out of the V6. Which, if you're European, that doesn't sound very good, but compared to a truck, you know, that'll get 11 or 12, 22 is great. The stream's been all right. I'm quite dizzy. I need to do another set. Come on. Finish strong. Finish strong. Oh, God. Yeah. I think I'm just going to do 2 more sets. I'm going to cancel front squats and trap bar. I'm just feeling kind of dizzy. We'll do 2 more sets of this, though. Finish strong. Maybe asking a Japanese. Oh, yeah, no, the Japanese. Well, okay. So to be fair, Japan is the size landmass of California and has the population of half the United States. So Japan's extraordinarily dense, which means the majority of stuff for passenger transportation isn't done by car at all. They use trains, which is an excellent way of transport. It's much more efficient. The Japanese also have something called the K-class. That's KEI. K-vans and K-trucks are small, narrow, efficiently designed cars that, while not as safe as larger vehicles, are not really meant to go more than about 30 or 40 miles an hour, but as such are very, very space efficient. And it's gotten to the point here where, because of US import laws, the newest K-vans and trucks we can import are 25 years old. So nowadays, things like the Honda Acti, I forget what the Mitsubishi one is. Suzuki Cappuccinos, cars like that, the little K cars and vans and trucks are getting imported to the United States, the ones that the Japanese were using in the 90s. This is one where a public policy needs to change, and the United States needs to repeal the chicken tax and allow for cheaper, smaller European and Japanese cars to come over here and compete. Not sure if it's okay for me to ask this. What's your favorite position during intimate moments in bed asking for a friend? Fun, fun, fun. I probably shouldn't ask that on stream. Well, okay. I like cuddling, I will admit. The problem for me is that cuddling is a wintertime activity. Because of how much muscle I have on my body, I radiate heat. And here in the summer, to give you itchy nurse a perspective, the deep south here is a bit like Queensland. The summers are hot, okay? Or I guess the summers here are like the winters in Queensland, hot. And as a result, cuddling ain't really something I can do in the summer months here. In the winter though, it's great. I act like a giant space heater. But yes, Discord for that for sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Tooley, for the follow. All right, we got 2 more sets of this. Let's hit it. I may just go balls to the wall and make this my last set. I'm tired. I'm not sure. Come on. That's it. Yeah, I'm cooked. I don't feel right, y'all. That's disappointing. That's all I got. Holy shit. I'll do Raider pulls and calves. Just a second. Yeah, I just shot. That's disappointing. I really thought I'd have a lot more energy than that. These sets of 20 hit me a lot harder than I thought they would. Let's do a set of calves. Actually, I'm gonna do Raider pulls first.
All right. It's 10:30 on Friday. Paper to work. Am I 21? Anti-vaxxer RS. That's a name. I'm 27. You're 28 as such. Yeah. No. She asked it in a very polite way. That's okay. If you guys have more explicit questions like that, that's what my Discord's for. You guys can ask me absolutely anything on there. Just, ask it in the right channel. All right. How much patter? All right. Part of me wants to finish it out and do one more set. So I've done 4 sets on 225 at 20. I've been just going really slow. That's all good. What do y'all think? Should I do one more set? I'm gonna psych myself up. I think I wanna finish. We go for a classic. Source of Infection by Van Halen. We're gonna do it. We're gonna fucking do this. Nothing's gonna fucking stop me. Itchy Nurse is a strange name, I will admit. Oh, maybe it comes from like the itchy blanket or the itchy bed. If it's like a field nurse or military nurse type thing. That or, I don't know, you cosplay? Who the fuck knows? Oh. I probably shouldn't do another set, and I don't care. I'm gonna. Do I do yoga? I do not. I'll stretch. You'll see me stretch at the end of this stream. After this set. By the way, I do not think we've hit 30 people in, so no handstand push-ups until we do. Rather, unless we do. Hey, welcome to the stream. Will Ian SLW. I don't know how to pronounce that. How do you measure your body fat? I use a scale. It's not particularly accurate. I forgot to take pictures this morning. Damn. I'll do that next time. If I had to guess, I'd say I'm somewhere around 13%. William? Alright, cool. Yeah, I guess I'm somewhere around 13% body fat right now. Yeah, electroimpedance is not the most accurate, but you can track trends over time pretty well with it. So even if it's not the most accurate in terms of raw number, if it's going down over time, that usually means you are losing body fat. Usually. Yeah, I should not do another set here, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do it. In high school, did you play sports, if at all? What? Wrestled and played baseball freshman year and football the rest. Was an offensive lineman, believe it or not. Here we go, last set, 225 pounds. 125, 215, 225.
fucking hit it. No thinking, just fucking go. Well, 15. Yes, sir. Crank it out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And we're done. Now we're done. Let's go. All right, I'll pass out. Woo. Hey, hey. Say what? Hey. I'm about to barf. Yeah, we're definitely done. We're gonna head back inside. I'm gonna do Q&A and stretch out before I fucking die. Life is a source of infection. Life is a source. Life is a source of infection. How deep was I going on those squats? Was I parallel? Because I truly have no fucking idea. This is now my 8th fucking set. Yeah, 77 in here. Definitely tell it's starting to get warmer. It's gonna make workouts like these tough. We're about to go, Cat Bro. I'm sorry. See, the fan's off now. Olympic ride, do I work 410? Yes, I do. Anti-vax or RS. My calorie target right now is 2,300 calories. Let's head inside and I'll keep answering these questions. Oh my God. God damn. I'll keep answering these questions. Give me just a second. Holy fuck. Dude. The squat rack is my dom. For those of you who like it kinky. There's no better exercise that you can do than the back squat. Do squats, do them often, and thrive. Okay, let's plug you guys in. Take these headphones out. Trying to catch my breath. computer in, take my shoes off. Okay. So my daily calories is about 2,300 is the target. I often overshoot that. I've been on a cut cycle since early March, and I've kind of been failing at it. So I'm hovering somewhere around 13 to 14%. I don't think I'm quite at 12. But you can see some of my abs. So clearly I'm not more than 15 either. Do I work a 4-10 schedule? Yes. Where are we going? Here we are. Oh, let me show you my standing desk. Before I do that, anti-vaxxer. This is just a basic old G-Shock. It's a Rangeman. I wear that because a lot of those smarter fitness tracking watches, in fact, pretty much all of them, have Bluetooth. Because of the job I do, because of my day job, I can't have anything Bluetooth on me when I go to work. So I gotta wear something simple. And this is solar powered, has barometer, altimeter, compass. I guess I should show that off. It's kind of hard to do. There we go. Right, EC compass, barometer, thermometer, sunrise, sunset. Again, solar powered, and it's a G-Shock, so it's gonna last forever. Okay. Wow. Okay. So normally I try to do 30 sets on every workout I do. Did not hit that today. We hit instead, let's see, 22 sets. Still pretty good. Never seen a watch like that before. Here, I'll give you what it looks like. I think that's what it's called. But I love it. This thing's built like a tank. I'll show it off a little bit more. There's also something cool on the back side of it. So you got a Wildcat. It's kind of hard to tell. See if I can bring it in a bit more. Come on, get into focus. It's not really deciding to show it. Come on. Yeah. I'll just send a picture of it on my Discord, but it's got this really neat engraved picture of a Wildcat on the back. I don't know, I think it looks cool. In general, I dig bigger sort of meteor watches just because, like, I'm not a small dude, so wearing like an Apple Watch looks tiny on me. This sort of, it's big, but it's kind of proportional. I think proportion's a big part of aesthetic. So, yeah. Anyway. Okay. Normally I would do my abs at this time too. I am gonna need a few minutes. I'm gonna stretch, I think. Maybe I'll do abs after that. A while after the bathroom fan on. Fix that. Yeah, we're gonna do a little stretching. Cool down just a bit. That was a lot. I'm gonna write a note about that in my journal here. Oh my god, okay. We're gonna do that after stretching. Stretching first. Oh my god. Oh, it's so painful. Holy crap. Do the splits. But yeah, because of my day job, I think a lot of the cooler new fitness tracking ones, Garmin, Suunto, even some of the Chinese brands, they're really neat, but I can't wear them to work. And I don't want multiple watches, I want one. So that's why I went with the Rangeman. It's like the smartest dumb watch you can buy. Oh my god. Oh, that feels good. Fuck. Oh. And we'll go to a sumo squat. Oh. Good to see you in chat, Luke. Hope you're enjoying the VIP role. Okay. We're gonna lay down for just a second. Try to catch your breath. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna get up, we're gonna turn the fan on, and then we're gonna lay the hell down. Oh. Yeah, lightheaded. Really lightheaded. Y'all, I don't normally feel like this after a squat workout. What this is telling me is that I chose to do things a little bit differently today. I did a lot of volume, right? So I did 3 sets of 15 at 265 and then 5 sets of 20 at 225. So that is a total of 145 reps, all at weights above my body weight. That is, right, don't be fooled, it's only 8 sets of squats. That is a lot of volume in one day. It definitely takes its toll. Do a little leg stretch here. Oh. Stretch out the hamstrings. Oh my gosh. By all means, please keep asking questions. Oh, today is also Financial Fitness Friday, so if you have money questions, today's the day to ask them. All right? Hey, Luke Skywalker for a wow, big old sub bomb. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it immensely. May the force be with you. Holy moly, that's a huge sub bomb. Thank you. Wow. Oh, all right. Let's do cat cow, downward dog, cobra pose, and we'll come back up. So cat. Switch to cow. Switch to cat. Cow. Downward dog. Cobra. Oh my god. Back to cat. And we'll come back up. Okay. Oh. Holy shit. Yeah. So I think there was a lot of stress put on my central nervous system from that. How was the workout? Grueling. Definitely very difficult. For a big dude, you're very flexible. I've been working on it. I used to be very, very stiff. In a lot of ways, I still am. But I've been here a while working and watching. Well, wonderful. Glad you're enjoying it. Morning, Dalty Walty. Oh my god, excuse me. I feel a lot better after that. I missed all of it. First time chat. I'm not going to try and pronounce whatever your name is. It starts with an F. Why am I financially independent in 733 days? The answer is that I have been saving the vast majority of my paycheck ever since I graduated college. I'm now 27 years old, and in 2 more years, or roughly 733 days, I will be able to live for good off the invested income. Plus some, additional side hustles there, rent from my roommate and so on. Well, I have improved then. Well, thank you, Luke. So instead of spending my money on consumer products the way many people at my age, in my 20s, have, I've saved almost all of it. I started out in 2017, graduated college saving about 60% of my income. These days, I'm between 80 and 85% of my income saved. It is, once you get in the habit of doing it, it's really a giant optimization game. If you're an engineer, you understand the value in optimization. I've really managed to optimize my lifestyle for cost. I will be able to retire at age 29. That's been my goal since I graduated college. And I think it's a goal anyone can do if you put your mind to it, but you've gotta make that your goal, and you can't be tempted by bullshit you don't need to buy. Itchy Nurse asks, this is a good question. What do you think of the recent interest rate hikes and an increasing inflation? Do you think it will lead to another global financial crisis, perhaps worse? Inflation is already coming back down. It peaked early in 2022, partially due to excessive government spending during the pandemic, and also partially due to the war Putin is waging in Ukraine. These two are independent events. However, both of them are extraordinarily inflationary. War is the most inflationary thing any government can do. Because what is war essentially? You're using excessive amounts of resources to try and steal someone else's land or territories. And that all those resources go to waste, be they tanks, munitions, bombs, increased pay for soldiers, increased, having to buy food rations for your soldiers, diesel, logistics, you name it. Not to mention Ukraine, of course, is the breadbasket of Europe. As a result, basic bread and food prices have gone up. And Russia's the gas station of Europe. As a result, demand for oil has to come down because the West is artificially cutting off its supply from Russia. I blame the Germans for this being as bad as it is because the Germans refused to embrace nuclear energy and instead wanted to get all of their energy from Russian gas. This was really stupid, and Angela Merkel should be judged very harshly for doing so. Hey, Bama's Daddy, welcome on in. Do I think inflation will lead to another global financial crisis, perhaps worse? No. Inflation is, I think, not going to go back to 2 to 3%, but I think it's going to level out at about its current levels. It's slightly below where inflation was in the 1970s, but we're not going to see hyperinflation like people are saying we are. I don't think that's going to happen, mostly because substitute goods are coming on the online. One of the things that all this government spending, I will grant, I'm not a huge fan of government spending, but a lot of this government spending done under the Biden administration, this is a very America-centric view, so your mileage may vary depending on which country you live in. A lot of that government spending is focused on fossil fuel alternatives, including small modular nuclear reactors. If we in the United States, right, okay, so here's how crazy addicted we are to oil in the United States. In 2020, oil dropped briefly, short-term oil contracts dropped to minus $40 a barrel. You could get money for buying oil because demand had crashed due to the pandemic. Well, how much do you think U.S. oil demand actually fell in 2020? 50%? 60% because we're all locked down? Wrong. 15%. U.S. oil demand in 2020 was the same as U.S. oil demand in 1998. Well, what does that mean? It means we in the United States are so wasteful with the amount of oil we consume that if we just cut our consumption by 15%, we would immediately flood the market with oil, and as a result, we would put the Russians and the Saudis right under our great American fucking boots. So to my fellow American countrymen, ditch that giant stupid-ass truck, buy a compact car, or better still, bike or take public transit, and support walkable, dense neighborhoods for national security interests, all right? Not to mention, walking and biking and transit, lower American obesity rates, which makes US healthcare costs a lot lower. And that brings me to the next question asked in chat. Yes, please. CatBro99 says, how will you take care of health insurance if you retire early? This is a great question, and it's one that I don't think gets asked enough because it's a very valid point. What am I going to do for health insurance? Well, I currently have an HSA. I have a high deductible healthcare plan. What that means is I am responsible for the entirety of my medical bills up to about $5,000 a year. That's a lot. But because I've stayed healthy for year after year after year, I have about $20,000 saved up in my HSA. In other words, I can cover my maximum out of pocket for several years in a row before even having to worry about actually taking on medical debt. Would this be ideal? Obviously not. But that's why my real healthcare plan, so my health insurance plan is self-funding through an HSA. My health care plan is eating right, lifting weights, and trying to keep myself healthy. And as it turns out, retiring early and living a much lower stress, much more free lifestyle is pretty good for improving health outcomes. In other words, my primary healthcare plan, yes, is don't get sick. And I have enough emergency money saved up to where I can afford basically any healthcare option. What I will do when I retire is probably purchase private insurance with a high deductible healthcare plan, and a maximum out of pocket of $5,000 to $10,000. I will continue in the meantime. I put away $250 to $300 every month. I think my chunk is $250 and the company throws in like $40 a month for my current job. So add that up, that's about $3,500 a year, the maximum IRS deductible limit. So I'll do that for the next 2 years. That'll bring me to about $27,000, $28,000, which is going to be more than enough to cover anything to a maximum out of pocket. Once I retire, I'll pick a private insurance plan that'll have probably about the same healthcare premium I currently pay and about the same benefits, which is to say none. It's really, basically my healthcare is self-funded, and the only time I would ever use my insurance is if something truly catastrophic happened. Like I got, in a massive car accident, or I got afflicted with a horrendous form of cancer. God forbid that happens, but if that happens, that's why you have insurance. So there's the answer. Shit happens on the health front even if you do everything right. Right, which is why I have in my HSA account almost $20,000 at this point, which should cover just about anything up into a maximum out of pocket. Now, if I hit that maximum out of pocket for multiple years in a row and I can see my HSA funds are dwindling, I'll pick a much more comprehensive plan, or God forbid, if that really happens, I'll go back to work and get a part-time job just for the healthcare. I hope I don't have to do that. And I'm betting, based on the good decisions I make for my own physical health, that I won't need to. But I'm not going to live my life in fear and say, oh God, I need health insurance, I need health insurance. I gotta work 40 hours a week for the rest of my life. Oh God, now I've got stress. I'm gonna have a heart attack at age 50. No. Don't live your life in fear. Your health is your responsibility. Have enough saved up to where, God forbid, if something out of your control does happen, you can cover your health expenses to the maximum out of pocket. And if that happens, worry about it then. All right? What do you think in general a good amount for an emergency fund is? Hold up. Let me get more here. Mr. Tooley says Russia wanted to leverage starvation and energy dependency. They kind of did it with food. They did, particularly in Africa and in South Asia, because they rely on Russian and Ukrainian grain exports. Frankly, it's evil what Putin is doing. That's fucking evil. I get why he's doing it. It's perfectly logical, but it's disgusting. And before any Russian defenders come on here and say, but what about America and Iraq? Yeah, the Iraq war was fucking wrong too. That doesn't justify what Russia is doing in Ukraine. What do you think in general a good amount for an emergency fund is concerned? I currently have $40,000 set aside. I don't recommend a set number for an emergency fund. Now, for healthcare, we've talked about that. If you live in a country with a different healthcare system, ignore what I was saying about the HSA. I'm an American, so I have to deal with the worst healthcare system in the developed world. if you live in a country with more sane healthcare laws, you don't have to worry about what I was talking about there. So a general emergency fund, it depends on a few factors. It depends on your willingness to take assistance from the government in times of need. I, for one, am philosophically opposed to taking government assistance unless I well and truly needed it. For me, I have roughly about 3 months of expenses, typically, sometimes more, sometimes less, between 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in a checking account at any given time. Any more than that, and you're missing out on investment gains, I feel. Any less than that, and you might be cutting it a bit close. You can also use credit cards as springy debt or like a HELOC, but that's got its own risks in terms of potential interest accrued, and your mileage may vary on that one. So in general, I say it really does depend on what your living expenses are. And only you know this, how quickly you could cut them. If you have an emergency, yeah, you're going to have to take emergency precautions. You know, you're going to have to stop going out to eat, for instance. You may need to scale back what you're buying at the grocery store. You may need to, keep the air conditioning a little higher. Don't turn the heat on quite as easily. Stuff like that. So figure out what your emergency rate of spending is, multiply it by 3 to 4. That would be my basic start place. Okay. Cat bro. We have excellent health care, just bad insurance. I don't even think we have excellent health care because this country is infected by a plague of the career form of a locust, a lawyer. We have too many lawyers in this country, and as a result, hospitals have to worry about getting sued for everything. As a result, they will overtreat people. They will give people tests for shit they don't need. They won't let doctors make educated decisions based on probability as much, which means, predictably, that American healthcare expenses are higher because doctors are afraid of getting sued. Malpractice insurance is extremely expensive in the United States, which is why doctors make those giant salaries. They have to be able to afford that somehow. Lawyers are a plague on society most of the time. And I 100% have a giant bias here, by the way, folks. I'm an engineer. Engineers and lawyers, we do that, all right? I don't like lawyers at all. There are many, many times where I've wanted to take a backhand to our legal department at multiple jobs I've had. All countries do evil stuff. This one just hit everyone in the West hard. Really do have to think what food to buy now. It hit Europe harder than it hit the United States. Prices for food are a little bit elevated now, but they're still quite reasonable. If you look back at So I say lawyer. This is a southern versus northern thing. People in the north say lawyer. You practice the law, therefore you're a lawyer. Although they are liars, so lawyers are liars. Yeah, I'd say so. Anyway, all the big countries do evil stuff, but as far as the United States is concerned, if you look back at what percentage of the paycheck most American households are spending on their food, even in these elevated food prices today, it's far, far lower than it was in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. The United States average household is very wasteful these days. We piss away our hard-earned money on stupid shit in general. I'm lucky my company pays all the monthly health insurance premiums. Yeah, I don't have that luxury. My healthcare insurances don't get sick. What will I do with my day if I don't have work? Whatever the fuck I want as my cheeky answer. My real answer is a little bit more entertaining. But before I do that, I am getting really parched. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some water. I'm also going to stretch out my back, my arms. So, what will I do with my day if I don't have work? Probably stream a lot more with you guys. I really enjoy doing this. This is fun for me. I get to do my workout. I love lifting weights, and I love answering questions and giving y'all a positive example to follow. You may not be able to use every single piece of advice I give you in here, But very rare is it that you will get nothing of value out of this channel either. So for those reasons, I would say, this channel, it has a lot of useful stuff that, you can learn. The other thing I've thought about doing for a long time is getting back into traveling. Because of the industry I work in, the job I do, I can't really leave the United States right now. I can, but the amount of paperwork I have to fill out is just, it's so much red tape and paperwork that's just not worth it. It's just too much of a pain in the ass. And I really miss traveling internationally. But the other thing I've thought about doing is kitting out a Chevy Express or a Ford Transit and seeing a lot of this great country's national parks. The United States is a truly beautiful place in terms of the amount of incredible wild lands that you can go and visit. So I'd love to see all, if not most, of the national parks. I would love to visit a lot of my friends, both past friends, friends I've made on my Discord, friends I've made on this channel, all across the United States, and then perhaps the world. I could consider, using my talents either in the fitness field or in the engineering side of things and doing charity work. I could even consider keeping my job, working, cutting down to 24 or 32 hours should my company approve it. I think they would, because they'd rather have that than lose me altogether, and go with that. Stretch out my chest. So I've got an infinite number of things I could do. I could move to the city, get a job. Like I've thought about, moving to Washington, D.C., getting a job in public policy or advocacy. Oh, my chest is sore. Maybe work for a lobbying firm that advocates for the use of nuclear energy in the United States. I am a firm believer in nuclear energy as a big part of the solution to climate change. In particular, because we want to switch to electrified forms of transit. Be that electrified rail, electrified cars, or electrified even airplanes somewhere in the future. That's going to take a long time. The point is, all of that electric demand is a lot more power we're going to need to generate. And it's a lot of baseload power that we're going to need 24/7. Solar and wind and unicorn farts are great, and I support solar and wind. But it's not going to be enough. You're going to need some large baseload power. And guess what? A nuclear reactor is the best way to do that. We've dammed every source of water we can really dam at this point, so hydro is at its limiting point. We're going to need to embrace nuclear. And the great news is nuclear, especially in the United States, is extremely safe. In fact, it's even safer than solar. This is a dirty little secret, but every year, a couple people fall off of roofs and die. Nobody has died from a commercial nuclear reactor in the United States. Never. It's never happened. 0 deaths. Now, we have had 3 deaths from the SL-1 disaster, but that was a military reactor built in 1961, okay? Clearly, we have improved standards and processes since then. Not to mention, the SL-1 was out in the desert in Idaho, near basically nobody. So, as long as you don't go digging out in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, you're never going to have to worry about radiation from that accident. Gorilla 11B, it's true. Welcome on in. I always love having new first-time chats. It looks like you are one. Thanks for the follow. 2 months expenses is fine if you already have something you own. Different here in Europe. I can just have 1 month's reserves. I have some food in stock. Yes, you do have free healthcare. So in the United States, you probably need a bigger emergency fund than you would if you lived in Europe. Mr. Tooley, you say different here in Europe, but see, when I think of Thule, because I was born in an Air Force family, I think of an Air Force base way up north in Greenland, which you can argue whether or not that's Europe or North America. To me, it's really on the borderline. But I don't think you live in Greenland. If you do, I want to hear shit from you, because that must be a really cool experience. Your doctor can't do his job, so you're more about legal than medical. Yes, malpractice is a fractional cost of healthcare. Although if you look at deaths in America caused by malpractice, it's staggering. Guess what? Being a doctor is really hard, and doctors are going to make mistakes. They're human. They're doing the best they can. Doctors are ultimately glorified car mechanics for your body. So are surgeons. I'm not disparaging them. What they do is extremely difficult, but the best healthcare you can do is eating right, getting enough sleep, not drinking too much, not smoking, and lifting weights. Love your streams. Thank you, Luke. Seen it all already. Yellowstone National Park. I have been to Yellowstone. It is gorgeous. Although, if I'm going to pick a national park in Wyoming, I prefer Grand Teton, which, yes, is basically Big Titty National Park. I wonder how much of med school is actually about medical versus getting sued. I'm not a doctor. I couldn't answer that question. It's a good question. I've invented a cold fusion reactor. Yeah, no, you haven't. Would you be all right living near a reactor? Gorilla B, I do. I can literally, if I go, there's a slightly higher point of land where I can see 4 nuclear reactors from that point, and it's about 3 miles up the road. I work on a nuclear site. Blackfoot, Idaho is amazing. Yeah, eastern Idaho is a really beautiful place. Hey, what's up, Rihanna? Good to see you. Always need that base production. Nuclear is good. Maybe there's no point in having everything with nuclear. Base might need to be 40% from peak. At least that much would make sense. It really depends on how much you electrify, right? If you're willing to run things like biofuels for your cars, then you don't need to electrify as much. But if you want to make everything electric, again, trains, and especially cars, and things, if you want to try desalinating water, right? Or, God help you, creating hydrogen for an economy, that demands shit tons of electricity. Well, how are you going to produce that? Well, the answer is nuclear. So you gotta, it depends on what society, how much electricity society is going to demand. AI doctors are going to be amazing. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. I live in Finland. I noticed a few years ago that airbase. Dude, Finland is amazing. Y'all have amazing hockey. The sauna is one of the greatest inventions of mankind. I love the sauna, but I live here in the deep south, and it's already a steam room for 6 months a year, so there's no point in me having one, but the sauna is a truly incredible invention. And I think, isn't Finland the one that invented salmiakki, that sort of salted licorice flavored liquor? That shit's good. How I ever considered joining the army. So my father served in the United States Air Force for 29 years. I did not consider joining the Army. However, immediately after I graduated college, I did very strongly consider joining the U.S. Navy because I was thinking about becoming a nuclear sub operator or a nuclear aircraft operator. I've been fascinated with the nuclear industry since senior year of college when I fell out of love with the automotive industry. This is the great thing about being a mechanical engineer. I can basically go to whatever industry I want because mechanicals are like electricals. We're needed everywhere. Medical diagnosis is correlations and probabilities, so AI is going to be amazing. I can see it. Ooh, hey, look at that lat spread. Y'all can see that on my left side there? Yeah, baby. Ooh, cramp. Cramp. Oh. Ha ha ha. This is tricep stretching. I like what I see. I hope one day to become a mechanical engineer. That's pretty cool. Hey, I mean, it was a lot of struggle in college, I will admit, right? I would bike by whenever I was going to the gym or going to class or going to study. I would bike by center campus and seeing all the liberal arts majors, napping on hammocks in the trees at Central Campus. And it was frustrating. But now they're either grinding away at $40,000 a year jobs, barely making ends meet, or worse still, they're saying, would you like fries with that? And I make almost $100,000 doing what I do. So yeah, I made a conscious decision to pick a degree that had low unemployment rates and higher salary rates. That was a simple economic decision, and I made it for those reasons. I'm good at engineering, right? Like I can do math, I can do engineering analysis. That's not why I picked the degree. I picked the degree because it pays well. How tall am I? I'm 6'3". That's roughly 190 centimeters. www.mu. That's a name. Stupid libs lol. I'm a centrist politically. Okay. I live in rural South Carolina, so I see a lot of really dumb shit that the right does here. For instance, the Carolina squat is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And it is when they take a truck and they'll lift the front half of the truck way up and the bottom of the half of the truck will be way down. So you're like driving looking upwards like this, and it's extremely unsafe because you can't see anything that's right in front of the vehicle, which means, especially if they're smaller, if it's a smaller person, which usually means kids, which means you have a greater chance of running children over. What the fuck is wrong with you? Thankfully, they're going to make the Carolina squat. There's a bill that's going to try and make the Carolina squat illegal. It's unsafe. It's stupid. There's no reason to do that. I don't like lifted trucks in general, but at least you can take a lifted truck running. The Carolina squat has no purpose. It's just stupid. Don't do that. And almost all the time, the people who do Carolina squats are the ones who have probably the dumbest flag I have ever seen on there, which is a Punisher sticker with the thin blue line flag in it. Now, the Punisher is a vigilante. Thin blue line is talking about backing the cops. Those two are mutually exclusive. The message there is completely incoherent. So I also see a lot of people who fly the Confederate flag around here, and that's also fucking stupid. So, do I like Carowinds? Yes, Carowinds is fun. I like Carowinds. People used to have plenty of salted stuff preserved for winters, kind of made the whole area like salt, salmiak, yeah. Well, the Finns, that's the other thing too. Y'all do like reindeer, y'all do all sorts of cool stuff, because Finland, you got to deal with those really, really long, dark winters. So yeah, you got to preserve shit. I like Finland. Y'all are cool. Y'all produce some damn good hockey players too. Do I like Bojangles? Not really. Bojangles is pretty fattening. The macros on it aren't great. And if I wanted fried chicken, I would go for probably a small mom and pop place around here. I live in bumfuck South Carolina. I can find good soul food, so I don't need to go to Bojangles. I'm a registered nurse. Lately, I've been kind of interested in the idea of becoming a medic soldier. Well, if you do that, there's lots of good benefits. How tall are you? I already answered that. 6'3", I think. Hit 95.3. Probably could be 95 before my dinner. All right. Hey, hold up. Energar. There we go. We have 2 Finns in chat. That's awesome. That's actually that's fantastic. Look, the other reason I like Finns, a lot, is because the Finns like shitting on the Swedes, and the Swedes need to be taken down a couple pegs. The Swedes are too arrogant and pompous. They think too highly of themselves, and Finland has a way of knocking them down a peg. I like that. Go Grizz. Oh, talking about the basketball team. I don't really watch basketball. I'll watch March Madness in college if my Aggies make it, but that's about it. But yeah, it's one of my holdups is going to college and dealing with all that crap, being approached about irrelevant stuff because I see it on mainstream media while I'm working on something totally different. College can be a really, really great way to improve your earnings potential. Here's the key about college. You need to do an ROI calculation on going to college. What is ROI? It stands for return on investment. How much money are you putting down to go to college? Is that money and the time value of money spent studying instead of working and earning income worth the delayed payoff, which you would think would be a higher salary? If you're going to college and getting a degree in underwater basket weaving or anything that ends in studies, the answer is no, it's not worth it. If you're getting an engineering degree or you're getting a computer science degree, usually the answer is yes. Yeah, so it really depends. I personally would say it really depends on what you want to do. If you know you want to be an engineer, then yeah, go to college and get an engineering degree. It'll probably pay off well for you. If you don't know whether or not you want to go to college, I'd consider strongly looking at the trades. Right now in the United States, there is a shortage of skilled blue-collar labor. welders, plumbers, HVAC technicians, electricians, people like that. Especially if you get the right certs. Like if you go and work out on the nuclear site, you want to be a nuclear grade welder to make nuclear grade concrete maker, nuclear grade pipe fitter. You can make $100,000 before you're 25 years old if you're willing to put in the hard work. And hell, the state of South Carolina will trade you. They will train you and pay you for training as an apprentice to get those skills because there's such a shortage of demand. There's a shortage of supply here. Hazal27, hello sir, hope you have a lovely stream. Thank you, I think so. How old were you when you moved out from your parents? Well, I mean, I went to college at age 18, but you know, that's pretty normal. After college, I was stuck between two jobs. I was waiting on a security clearance for a nuclear job out in Idaho, and it took really long to get through the system, so I ended up applying for a defense contractor job in Texas, and I ended up getting that job. So I moved back out at age 22. I will admit, right, so I helped my parents. They were moving right as I was graduating college. Oh my gosh, we have 31 people, so you guys will get handstand push-ups. But it was about 3 to 4 months after college. I went home. I helped my parents move from Texas to Washington State. I worked just a basic online tutoring job. It paid them a little bit of rent and all that jazz. So, you know, I made it work while I was looking for a job. My parents were very gracious about that, and I tried to help out around the house as much as I could. So, you know, I will admit, you know, I definitely got a nice little break there. If I'd have had to, you know, I'd have ramped up the online tutoring to a point where I could have, you know, took rent and lived somewhere cheap. But thankfully, you know, I got that job, and it didn't take me very long. Wonder how tough welding is on the body. Well, again, right, if you're working out at this site, making close to $100,000 a year, and you're welding, you keep yourself in good shape, you can be retired at age 30 just in the same way that I'm going. And as long as you keep yourself in good shape, you know, you'll be fine by age 30 if you quit welding. It's not that bad, actually. What did I major in college? Mechanical engineering. Did you take college loans? So, sort of. So because my parents were military, I did get GI Bill benefits, right? I didn't get them for the entirety of my 4-year college. I paid for a good chunk of my college by working in summer internships. And, you know, when I took my summer internship in sophomore year, right, I saved the majority of money I made, and I lived in the shittiest part of Houston, right? Because that's all I could afford. So between that and then there's something called the Hazelwood exemption, which waives a lot of tuition for military families. Texas is very, very generous to their military families, and there's a reason for that. It's because Texas likes attracting veterans to the state. In general, veterans are productive members of society, raise property values, they raise tax values for homes, they often create businesses, and so as a result, Texas is willing to subsidize veterans and veterans' families. So yes, we benefited from that, but I also paid for a chunk of my college. So did I take student loans? Thankfully, not really, not many of them. I paid them off pretty much instantly with my first couple of paychecks. But Rionic says, problem is some of us aren't any good at science-related fields and wouldn't be able to succeed in those fields. And that's okay. You don't have to just get STEM degree for it to be worth your time. You just have to do an ROI and figure out, okay, is paying for college worth the money I'm spending on it? You just have to be able to do that. Doing a basic ROI calculation is something everyone should be able to do. If you paid attention to any level of high school math, it's not that hard. And even if you didn't, you can Google how to do an ROI calculation. We have the internet, try and learn. Again, if you find that your college degree is not going to pay itself off, go for a skilled trade, make your money, and then once you're financially independent, go back to college, consider taking that degree now that you've got the money, and then you can quote unquote follow your passion if that's what you want to do. But don't do that at the beginning of your career when you know full well that degree isn't going to pay for itself. You have to make decisions according to economic reality. If you want to be like, okay, this is like, if you're a gender studies professor, the only thing you can do with a gender studies degree is be a professor for gender studies. That's what we call a dead-end degree. It's a degree where the only thing you can do with the degree is teaching that degree. That's not going to be very useful. I'm not going to make any cultural war claims here. I'm just saying from an economic perspective, there's not much opportunity that you're getting with that degree. You're having to pay for the privilege to get it, so it doesn't work. I'm in my late 30s. I just want to build things. Well, then, have you considered construction or carpentry? Carpentry is another skill where you can make pretty good money. Carpentry, you start off as an apprentice. After 5-6 years, you can start your own business, be a small business person, and hire out younger people to do the dirty work. And very easily, especially in a lot of these small towns where there ain't much competition, you can make 6 figs. Engineering studies did pretty good. Personally, I didn't want to know all that stuff. Professionally, enabled me to do stuff more. Main income is still an occasional power plant maintenance jobs and stuff. Didn't really need it. Maybe it would be better off financially by just doing fitting and welding. Maybe in the long run, those studies make themselves more than worth the trouble. It really depends. You know, it is a person-to-person type thing, and your mileage will vary. How are you going to retire at 30 making under 100K, though? Love this question. You need millions to retire. Bullshit. And here's why. I live in the rural deep south. As a result, my cost of living is extremely low. I live like a king on well under $20,000 a year, and you can too. The idea that you need millions and millions and millions of dollars to stop working a full-time job is bullshit, okay? You've only been told that because the United States economy is built and run by organizations that want you to consume as much as possible. As it turns out, a lot of that isn't necessary. If you can refine your spending and optimize your spending to live a much leaner, more efficient lifestyle, all of a sudden, it turns out you need way less money to retire. Mechanical engineering is really tough. I will say I busted ass in college. College was not as easy or fun for me as it was for a lot of people. Holy shit, you can see look at my lats from there. That is awesome. Dude, look at my lats. That's freaking great. This is the best view I've seen of my lats in a while. Let's go. Yes. I want to get coffee, but I can't pull away from my computer. Engineering is like my favorite topic. Yeah, no, you don't need millions to retire. Lab Boys TV. How do I bench 3 plates natty? Will still be able to make 170 for fighting? That's not particularly realistic. The only way you could do that, Lab Boys, is if you basically let your legs atrophy all the way. So you'll have chicken legs. If you had like this upstairs, and then you had absolute chicken legs, you might be able to do it at 170, but you don't want to do that because then you're going to get your ass kicked in a fight. Nursing is a good path. Yes, it is. Nursing is another really solid degree that has good economic prospects. Professors at my school earn over 200K. That means they're probably overpaid. Triple my pre-workout intake. I mean, if you want to, hear your heart beating, sure. Major in business management, really want to get my master's in project management, so I go to a higher position, probably become a project manager at well-paid NGOs. See, you have a plan there. As long as you've got a plan and you can figure out what kind of salary a job like that's going to pay, you're going to do all right. So good on you, Hazal. Cap, you do not live like a king. You have 0 Shelby GT350s and no AKs. I got a 12 gauge and a Chevy Volt. What more could I want? Oh, and by the way, I own my own house. You don't. You're paying rent. I know how much you're paying for rent too, so I'm not going to flex, but you already know how I want to flex. Each year, lats be popping. So, say you retire at 30 and have 20,000 of expenses each year. After 50 years, it's 1 million. Okay. But that's assuming, right? So do I have 5 free goals in a Chevy Boat? That's funny. All right, let me do the handstand push-ups. I do owe you all that because we hit 30 people in chat. So if I retire at 30 and I have $20,000 of expenses each year, right, but my savings are invested. And there is something called a safe withdrawal rate. In other words, what minimum level of your invested income can you withdraw every year and still have your capital grow? There have been loads and loads of studies done on this, but the most reliable conservative value, dude, I'm trying here. Repeat the question, dude. I'm getting a lot in chat, so I'm trying to keep up. Is 3%. So, all right. $20,000, right? To get 3%. First off, I live on less than 20,000. It's more like 16 to 17,000. But let's say 20,000. We'll be conservative. Okay? $20,000 divided by 0.03 is $666,666. This is also assuming I don't make a single red cent for the rest of my life apart from invested income after I retire, which is untrue. I have a roommate. My roommate pays me $500 a month in rent. That, between that and the equity I'm getting from this house, because I have a low interest rate 15-year mortgage, means I have negative housing expenses. Very easy. My rent is your yearly budget. Wish I was in the land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. I'm telling you, the rural deep south is so fucking slept on, all right? People love to shit on the South, but then they're like, wait, hold up. You have this nice giant house on half an acre with grapevines on the back, and you got that for how much again? Holy shit. How did you do that? Yeah, my mortgage is $880 a month. This is an 1,100 square foot house with a brick foundation on half an acre with a two-car garage, as you guys have seen. It's in terrific shape. All the wiring's been upgraded. You know, there's no wood rot. There's no cracks. The roof's in good shape. The HVAC is in good shape. And my mortgage is $880 a month. You can do this too. You gotta move to a rural area. Stop sleeping on rural America, y'all. It's just, I'm telling you, anybody could have done what I chose to do. And here's how I know, right? I could have chosen to live in Augusta or Evans or Aiken, where it's a whole lot more expensive. I deliberately chose not to do that, and I moved to a much smaller town. If you want to know, you can go on my Discord. Don't show up to my house unattended. You'll get blasted. I have a shotgun. All right? But the point here is that, right, you can choose your level of expenses a whole lot more than people say you can. The idea, right, I think... Merlin, okay, hold up, Merlin. Why do you say ick? Why do you say ick? Why are you being judgmental about living in the Deep South? Explain to me why. And here's the other thing, too. If you don't like the Deep South, if you just don't like the summers, if it's just the summers, guess what? The rural Midwest is just as cheap, and the Midwest is awesome. All right? People like to shit on Iowa, on Wisconsin, on Ohio, on like Western Pennsylvania, but they're really nice places filled with nice people, and they're extremely affordable. All right, let's do some handstand push-ups, because I do owe y'all that. 2, 3, yep. Oh. All right. So if you like what I do, consider joining the Discord. Oh. Need to find a rural city that's progressive, low cost of living, and has excellent weather. Be the change you want to see. If you're progressive and you say, ew, the Deep South, why would I want to live there? You're part of the problem. All right? How the hell, right? This pisses me off so bad, what liberals and progressives do. They love to crap on the Deep South and the rural parts of the Midwest. Then they're like, well, why are they so backwards? Why don't they just understand? It's 2023. Haven't they gotten with the times? It's like, they only see you progressives based on what they see on TV. If you live in a rural Deep South town, my neighbors, they've never met a progressive. They don't know what you guys espouse apart from what the TV says. And frankly, the way you're portrayed on TV isn't very good. They find the worst of you and put you up on there. So be the change you want to see. Move to a small town. As it turns out, we're a lot less racist and bigoted than you think we are. All right? Because guess what? The media does the same thing. They pick the worst of the Deep South and put them on, and it's like, oh God, the South hasn't changed since the 60s. It's so racist. It's so bigoted. It's not true. We're very welcoming. It's not nearly as bad. Okay, and I can give you proof. Ooh, I love the rural Pacific Northwest. Absolutely. Rural Oregon, Washington, Idaho. It's fantastic. More like I don't want to... Lynchings don't happen down here anymore. Stop with that. Okay. This town, the town that I lived in, had the KKK in it until 1984. Things have changed. It doesn't have that racism problem anymore. Is it perfect? Is this some racial utopia? No, of course not. But it's not the way it used to be either, right? The South is getting a lot better on these social issues. And I think a lot of urban progressives don't see that. I think a lot of urban progressives, again, y'all are just like rural folks. We're shown the worst of we're shown the poop map of San Francisco, right? Well, you urban progressive folks are shown the most backwards assholes in the Deep South. There are assholes everywhere, okay? The point is, it's not nearly as bad as, oh boy, South will rise again. Not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But, again, the Deep South is awesome. Ag is destined to become a Florida man post-financial independence. I actually love large chunks of Florida, but there's also... Florida's the ultimate C-tier schizo state. I both love and hate Florida, and And it's weird, because I like urban and rural Florida. Urban Florida's a lot of fun. Like, Miami sounds like a great town. I like Tallahassee. I like Tampa. And I love the rural panhandle. I love the Floribama. I love the Redneck Riviera. But I fucking despise Orlando. I despise Jacksonville. I despise the suburban sprawl that has infected a lot of Florida. So I have a love-hate relationship with Florida. Right. San Francisco does not have poop everywhere. Right. And in the same way, right, San Francisco doesn't have poop everywhere, and the Deep South doesn't have lynchings. It's the same stuff. You've been fed propaganda about the Deep South, just like people down here have been fed propaganda about San Francisco. Both places, my point is, both places are better than they sound. I need to find, but a rural city that's progressive, low cost of living, and has excellent weather. Off the top of my head, you'd be looking at college towns. Small rural college towns aren't nearly as bad as you think they are. It's more of the rural part. I grew up in a farm in Vermont and never moved out, and never again would I go back. Well, hey, different strokes for different folks. If you want a cheap urban progressive city, Cleveland is a really good example. You have to put up with shit weather, but it's progressive. It's somewhat walkable. It's urban. There's a lot to do. But Cleveland has a negative rep. But it's not as bad a town as people say it is, as an example. And you can find very affordable housing in Cleveland, or Buffalo, or Pittsburgh, or you get the idea, all right? Even Philadelphia. Philadelphia is fairly affordable. Now, weed being illegal, that's why I'm encouraging a lot of you progressives to come down here. Don't bring all your politics, but help me legalize it. Because, I would like legal weed. It's never going to happen here in South Carolina. We in North Carolina will be among the last to legalize it because tobacco is still a big industry in this state. So it's not going to happen. I'm really surprised Virginia is as tolerant of cannabis as they are, because, again, Virginia has a strong tobacco industry in the southern parts of the state. But yeah. There's a bill right now in Florida to add pedicels eligible for the death penalty. Jesus Christ. Talk to me about that one on Discord. I'm nervous. I don't want Twitch to get pissy with me on that one. Same applies in Sydney. People in rural. Oh God. Now you want to talk about housing crisis? Australia, what the fuck are you doing? Australia has problems when it comes to housing. The biggest one is that Chinese investors come in, buy all the shit, don't let anyone live there, and then try to flip it. Missoula is beautiful, but it's also extraordinarily cold. It is getting expensive because Californians have moved there. Notice your cat eyes. Do I have cat eyes? I just have normal green eyes. I don't know. Come to Utah, bring your politics and food. Provo's a good town. The problem with Utah is that the Great Salt Lake is drying. People are using too much water, and as a result, Utah is going to have some dust problems in the coming years. I would love to travel to every major city in the United States. Nobody should ever be homeless. It breaks my heart. There are people who choose to be homeless, and even if you gave them housing, would not take it. Not everyone wants to have a home. And technically, like, if you're a van lifer, some people define that as homeless, which I think is stupid, because if you've deliberately chosen to live in a van, it's your choice. I do think in general the solution to homelessness is... Okay, my personal solution to homelessness is as follows. I think homelessness is... I'm not saying all people choose to be homeless. I'm choosing there are some people who refuse options. I'm not saying all people choose to be homeless. That obviously is ridiculous. But what I would say is the solution to homelessness is by upzoning single-family housing areas. And by doing that, you create a lot more spaces for much denser urban living. What does that do? That's going to allow the middle class and upper middle class a lot cheaper rent. What does that do? It takes pressure off of housing prices, which means rents come down. Increased supply, the same amount of demand means prices go down. And when prices go down, the lower middle class can afford to move in again, and as a result, you don't have to subsidize the lower middle class, which means you can actually subsidize the lower class, which really needs it. So, nobody who wants housing should be homeless, and there are ways we can fix that. The simplest answer is letting government get out of the way of zoning restrictions. American cities, with the exception of a few in the Northeast, are not dense enough. It's that simple. Because for the most part, people want to live in big cities. I like living out here in the sticks. Now it's funny. Homeless rates here in the rural deep south are really low. Well, why are they really low? It's because even homeless people who would otherwise be homeless, right? If you go work a job at the Dollar General here for $7, $8, $9 an hour, you can buy a trailer home and you can afford to live in it. It's not a glamorous life, but you will have a roof over your head. You can't do that in the big city because housing costs are too high, because there's too much single-family only zoning, which means there are not enough houses for the number of people who want to buy them or rent in them. So do you really think people want to... Do you support jumping the homeless with skateboards? God damn it. It's a funny video, but I've seen those videos. I laugh at them, and I feel really shitty for laughing at them. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, cat bro. There are people who don't want to be in the system and refuse help. I'm not saying that is a very small chunk of the homeless population, but those people do exist, and they have the right to do that, but they don't have the right to do that in such a manner as it becomes a nuisance to the city, right? Again, if you're pooping in public, that's a really good way to spread disease. We don't need that. So there's a balance, okay? This is why I'm a centrist. Our minimum wage is $20 an hour. This is another one that I have an issue with. Minimum wage needs to be not done at the federal level. Minimum wage needs to be... see, that was a South Park reference. But I've seen other videos of people actually doing that. Bro, you've shown me a couple of them. And again, it's funny, but it's also bad. Minimum wage is $20 an hour. That wouldn't work here economically. $20 an hour would be too high. There would be no businesses that could afford to pay that as a minimum wage here. But, right, that's what I'm saying. If you live in Charleston, right, Charleston is a much higher cost of living. So Charleston County or Richland County, which is where Columbia is, or Horry County, where Myrtle Beach is, should be able to raise their local minimum wage. Let local government solve it. This is not one where the federal government or even the state needs to intervene. Take, for instance, the state of New York. You can live on a whole lot less money in a place like Rochester than you can in a place like Manhattan. So let the localities set minimum wage. A one-size-fits-all policy doesn't make sense. You need to get out more. Are cities fighting to make minimum wage for lower jobs higher to make it affordable for those living in San Francisco? See, the problem is trying to raise minimum wage there isn't what San Francisco needs to be doing. What San Francisco needs to be doing is everything in its power to lower the cost of living. This means taking it to the fucking NIMBYs and building more density. Go look at an urban density map of San Francisco and compare it to New York City. There's a reason that New York City has several times the amount of people that San Francisco does, but it has lower rents. The reason is because San Francisco is not dense enough. San Francisco is on a peninsula. It's a tiny chunk of land. You cannot have most of that land be single-family housing, which artificially restricts supply. Naturally, that's going to drive rent prices through the fucking roof. And then the lower middle class can't live there. They can't afford to. You have to allow the market to build more affordable solutions, and San Francisco refuses to do that because NIMBYs go to these town hall meetings and they raise hell. That's my rant on that one. There are people that would rather be homeless in a place like Santa Monica than work a job and pay rent. Not a majority of the homeless, but they do exist. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do exist, and that's a different one in terms of handling it. But no, San Francisco's biggest problem right now is that they shoot themselves in the foot. Most of San Francisco's problems are self-inflicted. The city has refused to gentrify. It's hard to be homeless in New York City with the winters and people constantly yelling, "I'm walking here!" I've never been to New York City, but it's a funny joke. Our city isn't that big. Middle class lives here. We just don't live in houses. Again, San Francisco has the highest rents in the United States outside of Honolulu, but Honolulu is a special one. The simple answer is that San Francisco is not dense enough. I will give credit to one Bay Area city in particular for actually trying to fix the problem to the best they can. And that city is called Emeryville. Emeryville is a tiny chunk of land in between Oakland and Berkeley. What Emeryville has been doing is approving as much high-density housing and as much bikeability as is humanly possible to get as many parking lots removed as they can, to get as many people off highways and cars as they can, because cars just take up too much space in a place where rent is that high. So Emeryville, again, is trying to build as much density as they possibly can, and that's a great idea. More cities in the Bay Area need to follow Emeryville's lead. I think Emeryville is doing something really good. And it's a very rare time where I praise a Bay Area city, but hats off to Emeryville. San Francisco needs to follow Emeryville's lead. If we made rent affordable for everyone, we would have more homeless. What? Crash override. I'm not sure I follow your logic there. There's that Catholic bishop or something that left the city because of the lip service progressives there. As a Catholic, the culture wars bore me. I don't care much about the culture wars. But yes, there are a lot of progressive hypocrites I call them NIMBYs. There are people who want progressive values and social systems as long as it doesn't actually affect them personally. The not in my backyard crowd. Silent Viking says, I've got a full marathon in like 4 weeks. I'm excited. Kick ass, man. Good luck. I hope you kick that marathon's ass. Tell us more about it, and thank you for the first time chat. How many years do I have until I'm 30? I'm 27. I turn 28 in a couple weeks. I will not be live for my birthday, by the way. I will be in Myrtle Beach enjoying the waves. What games do you play, PC or console? PC, I need to set up, actually. My wonderful bro gave me his old rig. I need to set it up. Oops, there we go. I just haven't yet, and that's on my to-do list this weekend. I'd like to get Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft in so long, and it just sounds like fun. I know, Minecraft is normie as shit, and I even play Vanilla Craft, sue me. The problem is I have so much other shit to do in my life between lifting, streaming, running my house, working, doing yard work, going out hiking. I just don't game that often. Real life is too much fun for me to game all that much. That's how I feel. You have to earn to live in a nice area. Everybody wants, yeah, I mean, look, if we allowed everyone to move here with a $20,000 income, we'd be a city of poverty. I'm good on that. Not sure how I don't understand the logic. Here's what I mean, Crash Override. Right? Everybody wants to move to New York City too. But the difference is New York City has built enough, they've built a lot more dense housing than San Francisco has, which means New York can have a much higher population and still function okay. San Francisco refuses to do that. Again, go look at a density map and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. San Francisco doesn't have enough housing to support even the middle class anymore a lot of the time. So about 2 years. Yep, that's why I have that little timer down here, right? It says 733 days. Yeah, 2 years. I want people to be able to afford rent, but you are not entitled living in downtown Austin or San Diego. It doesn't matter if you grew up there. That's true. That's true. I would never want to live in New York, too much ghetto. I agree. I wouldn't want to live in the big city either, which is why I live in the rural deep south for way cheaper than all of you guys are living in. Los Angeles has problems. That's all I'm going to say. Los Angeles actually might be even worse about NIMBYism and single-family only housing than San Francisco is, and that's saying something. Los Angeles, the problem with Los Angeles, this is what pisses me off about LA. In 1930 to 1935, Los Angeles had the biggest streetcar network in the entire world. Fast forward 20 years to the 50s, all the streetcar lines got ripped out, and they got replaced by the most congested highways in the United States. Drive the 405 and you know what I'm talking about. If there are any Angelinos in here, you guys can't defend the 405, and I don't think you'd want to. Los Angeles created, after World War II, immense amounts of single-family exclusive only zoning laws, much of which, by the way, were racist. A lot of which were red lines, so unofficially barring Black and Hispanic people from owning housing in white neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and the effects of that still make themselves known to this day. It's why Compton was such a bad area in the 80s and the 90s. It was disinvested. Even though in the 20s and 30s it was relatively prosperous because it lay on a major streetcar line to downtown LA. The point here is that single-family zoning and urban sprawl is a failed city building model. It makes cities poorer, it makes them less affordable and less pleasant to live in. It happened across the entire country. Cities condensed, you don't have to travel 20 minutes to get to a good neighborhood. Again, I'm just talking people per square kilometer. If you look at people per square kilometer and you look at Manhattan, and you look at even Brooklyn, and you look at San Francisco is nowhere near as dense as New York City. And rents will continue to be obscene in the Bay Area until the city densifies. It's just supply and demand. Majority of neighborhoods are nice. If we have a ghetto 2 area, it's maybe a block, not several. Well, I mean, that's great, but that's also the reason you have such a truly horrendous homeless problem. Because a lot of those homeless people, I mean, shit, I've read loads and loads of stories about Google engineers in Silicon Valley and San Francisco that decide to live in buses and converted buses and vans because they don't want to pay $4,000 a month for a shoebox. You need to read up on the gasoline engine and transportation causes. Oh, listen, I'm a huge car fan. I'm a mechanical engineer. It runs in my blood. But the automobile is one of the worst inventions of humanity. It is truly awful. Plus, Ultra Eddie, good to see you. This light does you justice. Should definitely capitalize on it and take some photos. Actually, on my wish list, which by the way is up, if you guys want to check it out, just type in here. I'll go ahead and do it. I have a ring light. And if I get that, I'm gonna plug it in right here, and it's gonna make this pop even more. So, just a little heads up on that for those of you. If y'all like what I do and want to support what I do, you have that option. You can also tip. So that's totally up to you guys, though. But in general, I could have been an F1 driver. Dude, that's pretty baller. I couldn't. I'm too big. F1 racing drivers are usually smaller, right? Because it's just a physics equation. A smaller person is an edge because it makes the entire person and car lighter. Are you aware of why public trolleys were removed across the country? Yes, because the oil companies and GM, Ford, Chrysler, and at the time, Nash Kelvinator wanted them removed. And they paid the car, they basically bought out a lot of the trolley lines because that made people more dependent on cars. Oh yeah, I'm well aware of that, which is why GM is a fucking scummy company. Yeah, no, I know why the trolleys don't exist anymore. Oh yeah, no, I would, no. Fuck the auto companies, man. Again, I love cars. I do. but I'm not blinded to just how damaging they've been for the United States economy in general. So we won't allow high rises outside downtown. I'm not saying high rises, but just like 3, 4, or 5 over 1s, man. The news likes to give a fake image of my city. Are you aware of the Dodge Brothers versus Ford lawsuit? I am. Henry Ford was an interesting character. That's all I'm going to say about that. Henry Ford had some issues. And yeah, the Dodge Brothers were pioneers back in the day. But anyway, it's getting late. I have a lot of other shit I need to get done today. I actually need to go get a wood chipper because I have a shit ton of down branches and limbs that I have cut down from trees, and I want to I want to mulch and just get them out of my yard. So I need to fix that. It's interesting what's happening in Silicon Valley now. So many of Joe's jobs don't require you to live in California anymore. Love Dodge trucks. I don't like American pickup trucks in general. Most of them are just too big. I would like, right, and this partially is due to safety regulations. I miss trucks sized like the original Ford Ranger or Chevy S10. 4-cylinder miniature pickup trucks that for most people got the job done. California's salary without the cost of living is the dream. Oh, absolutely. That's why tech companies now, they've caught on to that, and a lot of the remote workers will have to pay for less. Hey, Funky Sevens, thank you very, very much for the follow. I think we're gonna go look to raid someone here. Who's on? Let's find out. We got Cole Runnings. We've got, let's see. Evo. Ooh, we haven't rated Stars and Bars for a while. Stars and Bars is pretty great. He's from Ireland, and he's got some pretty good numbers. What about the Rockefellers? Oh God, Standard fucking Oil. Now, the good in terms of philanthropy that the Rockefellers have done over the years can't be ignored. But nor can the anti-competitive business practices of the Rockefellers, which damaged a large chunk of the U.S. economy, and it was creating artificial monopolies. There's a reason Theodore Roosevelt broke up a lot of those. Trying to bring life back downtown. Our malls are going from shopping malls to entertainment malls instead. Great. All right, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and raid Stars and Bars. I'll be back again tomorrow with Bench at 9 a.m. Eastern. All right. So let's see here. Let's make the raid message. Ag did a ton of volume on squats. Thanks for the convo. Yeah, thank you. By the way, I'll say, I love the conversation in here. It's always a lot of fun to be talking about that kind of stuff with y'all. If y'all liked what I do, again, come check out the Discord, and I hope to see you there. We're going to go ahead and raid Stars and Bars. Stars and Bars. All right. So raid message is right up above, and as always, y'all, make good decisions. Please go, make good decisions. Good decisions in the short run form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values form an ethos, and that ethos can be the cornerstone of building the bridge to success in the future. Much love, y'all. Come in for the hug.